Hey everyone, welcome back with Bino Mac, where today we are going to continue our playthrough of ECW House Party Mixtape, a ROM hack based off of WWF WrestleMania 2000, made by the, of course, very talented GM Spectre. Originally made by the Aki Corporation and stuff for the Nintendo 64, you guys get it. This is a ROM hack, so it's playable on real hardware, and it's essentially an ECW All-Stars mod based off of WrestleMania 2000, so right now we're getting the benefits of that by playing Extreme Road Tour as Rob Van Dam and Sabu is my partner. Don't know if we have a tag match tonight, but maybe we'll see him in the Rumble regardless. And yep, so this is going to be pretty much, this is the equivalent of the Royal Rumble match. So, oh yep, so we do have a tag match against our old rivals Shane Douglas and Sandman, and I don't believe we've been able to defeat them yet, so I don't know, let's hope we start off this night good. But it is, of course, going to be a tornado tag match. And here we go, we're here, we're at the house party. And of course, since, you know, it's a new video, we got to get some new attires, matching attires. Orange is one of my favorite colors. Well, it is my favorite color, so I figured this would be a pretty cool looking design here. And I think this might be one of RVD's default costumes, but I think I just removed the gloves and stuff like that. Of course, we got the franchise Shane Douglas. And I haven't watched so much in ECW, but I do gotta say, I don't know, I did watch Dean Douglas, and I'm not gonna lie, that was the most boring gimmick that I've ever had to sit through. Like, he really did capture the essence of just being in a class, having to sit there and listen to a boring ass teacher, you know, go on and prattle on about something, you know, something they don't really care about too much either. I think I like Matt Striker, the teacher, a lot more, but that said, I feel like, you know, it's just a gimmick limited him. So who's to say where he could have gone if he didn't have that gimmick, as well as, you know, there was the Click, of course. And I really do like this outfit for the Sandman too. That's the one that has always stood out to me, with the American pants and stuff like that. And just like Stone Cold, he's got to go to all four corners too to show off his beautiful kendo stick. But you guys aren't going to get the best of me this time. I've refined my strategy. You know, the last time I fought these guys, I think I was actually doing a pretty good job. It was just, they overwhelmed me. But this time I think, you know, these things are going to be different. We got to take care of business here, because I can't stand losing these guys yet again. Oh, this is going to be a preview of the Battle Royal tonight. And yeah, so this, like I was saying a minute ago, this is its own episode. This is just like the pay-per-view. Usually I do month by month, but, you know, obviously since the Royal Rumble is essentially in here, you know, I've got to, you know, it has to be its own thing. You know, that match is just going to take forever. I don't even know how long this match is going to take, to be honest, but I even tried to do a thing where, because obviously, as you can see, I've modified the oh, thanks, Sabu, gee. Real teamwork there. But anyway, so as you can see, I've modified matches and stuff, and I tried to be cheeky with it, and I wanted to modify the Battle Royal into like a 20-man one and stuff like that, just to kind of A, make it easier, and B, you know, just so that it would take less time. It doesn't work as simple as you would think. For example, like the entrance modifier, right? It's not as simple as, like, you know, placing the number as like how many people you want to enter. It's a little more complicated than that, and it's something that I don't quite understand myself. For example, like, I think if you wanted like 40 participants in a Royal Rumble or something like that, you would have to put the modifier number as like 54 for whatever reason. I don't know, maybe Mr. GM Spectre could explain that more, but I just put the number at like 20, and so we're going to see what that entails, essentially. You know, it's probably going to be something, it could have just been not modified entirely because it's a special match in Road to WrestleMania. So it could still be the 30. It could not be. I don't know. We're gonna find out. And but I don't know. It's gonna be a very entertaining time for sure. It's not gonna be like 8 people or anything like that. But if I could figure out the exact special modifiers, I probably would have made it like some sort of 8-man battle royal, whereas, you know, ring out wasn't a thing or something like that. But because, you know, I'm not sure of what is going to be coming, you know, I'm just going to kind of stick with the normal Rumble rules. But if I can figure that stuff out, maybe I'll change it for future playthroughs, because, you know, obviously there's going to be, I think most of the ROM hacks in the scene today really are from WrestleMania 2000, because obviously GM Spectre. Oh, there we go, folks. And we have done it. We have taken out, we have finally won. We have restored honor to our name. Now we got to do it one more time tonight in the Battle Royal. But yeah, as I was saying, you know, there's obviously, I'm going to do a WCW Saturday Night playthrough. I'm going to do a, you know, at some point I'm going to do WrestleMania 10. I'm going to do Virtual Pro Wrestling Summit. So there's going to be quite a few of them. Plus, I do actually want to do a replay of my WrestleMania 2000, the base game, because I messed that playthrough up all those years ago. And when I was playing as Stone Cold to get the Smoking Skull title, I was able to successfully do it, and I have most of the footage, but that was before I was able to understand, you know, file sizes and how much I could get away with and all sorts of stuff. So I think the entire month of January is just missing because I lost the footage. It's lost media that can't be recovered. Yeah, even a small channel like me, Bino Max, got lost media. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to redo that. And I don't know if I'm going to play as Stone Cold. It might be somebody else. Maybe like The Rock or Triple H or The Undertaker or Kane. You know, that would be a good choice too. Although then again, I don't know if I'd want to do Triple H because he was my tag partner in that run. But I don't know. We'll see. But even then, I mean, if you don't want to see me play those, I mean, there's always all sorts of different kind of, you know, ROM hacks. Obviously, Ragdos is the king of the WCW ones. You know, he had World Tour, the Telefindu Tour, which is awesome. You know, well, we'll talk more about that when we get to his kind of content. But, you know, Lefinda Tour and Salvo are obviously fantastic ROM hacks. And then we, you know, got Project Outsider, which I'm looking forward to, because one of the biggest issues I've always had with a lot of No Mercy ROM hacks, well, not really ROM hacks, but mods and stuff like that, is I'll often look at these mods and it's great because they have all these new characters and they revamped the roster, they changed the belts, everything that they've revamped except for like the championship mode. It's just the exact same, and it's kind of like, you know, that's sort of lame at that point. What's the point, you know? Because, you know, I understand why people do ROM hacks and stuff like that, but for me, I don't really like doing the multiplayer, like Exhibition is like the main mode or whatever. Another thing I'd love to figure out too is like how to get the code for, I think, I haven't tried it in Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, but I think there's a code for it in that. But like if you've watched my survival run with Tommy Vercetti and No Mercy, you've seen that I've been able to modify the camera in Royal Rumble and survival mode and stuff like that. And No Mercy, into which, you know, the characters, when they enter, the nameplate still shows up and stuff, but they don't interrupt the match flow in any way. So like if, for example, if that was on just now, then I could have easily eliminated the Pitbull, you know, which I believe is Pitbull number 2. But I don't know, maybe I'll have to try and see if there's a way to figure that out at some point. Look at some old message boards and whatnot, or maybe I'll just post it to the N64 wrestling Reddit. Sometimes it's like a hit or miss, you know. Usually whenever, you know, I ask questions, and it seems like most people ask questions, they get the answers they're looking for, but other times not so much. But it's usually rare when they don't. I love that friggin' Stevie Richards shirt so much. Flock of seagulls. Dude, we gotta be careful because one wrong hit and we're out of here. Like, I think it was my freaking Kurt Angle playthrough in championship mode. Whereas I think it was I can't remember what belt. It was a European, I think, and I had to do the Royal Rumble or something like that. And I got all the way to the end, had a finisher and everything, and it was down to the last 3 guys, me included. And because somebody got a lucky shot in, you know, I did that thing where you like stagger back. They did another weak kick. I staggered back right out of the freaking ring. It was so demoralizing. It sucked so bad because I completed the challenge I needed to do, but I could have probably gotten so much more bonus money from you know, actually winning it, which I could have easily done if I didn't make that simple mistake. Oh, come on. Really? That is... These matches are not anywhere near as chaotic or annoying as the, you know, like SmackDown Royal Rumble titles, but man, there is a lot of stuff. The more I play it, that really does get annoying. Like, you know, I hate it when I'm about to eliminate someone and some guy just decides for no reason whatsoever to just attack me for no reason because I happen to be close by to him. So, ooh. That could have been bad. That could have been really bad. Thank goodness he had that kitchen sink. There we go. I also love the updated time clock. I think you just kind of removed the logo from it, but it looks pretty cool, a lot better. Oh man, now we got Psychosis out here. And I did try and change up everybody's attires for this too, as usual, to, you know, give it a little more variety and the character models and stuff you see. And I gotta say, Pitbull #2, usually the AI kind of just dicks around, like they're not programmed to actually eliminate people in these battle royals, but he's been just kind of tearing through people. I'll give him credit, right? All the credit in the world for that. He even tried eliminating Balls Mahoney, but Perry Saturn put the kibosh on that, which, you know, would have been appreciated from me. But yeah, the battle royals in these games, man, it's so much infuriation. And there really is. It is a lot more tame than the other games around this time, but there is a lot more. It's still very chaotic, and it is very annoying when you're doing modes like this for single player. And, you know, like just the wrong types of hits, or maybe you're at just the right angle to kind of get, you know, smacked out or something like that. And all your match progress would be gone and stuff like that. And now we got his partner here, John Cronus. Apparently, I'm not sure how true it is, someone who was hacked into No Mercy and stuff like that would have to you know, say, you know, speak and all that stuff. But I was watching an Ultra Pro Wrestling interview, and I think I brought this up before, I can't remember, but it, you know, it's topical to what's going on here now. And you know, that's something too, before I even continue on my thing. That was a pretty bad move of mine, because if he had reversed that, even though it was just a weak grapple, you know, the AI is pretty crazy, and especially the further we go on, but if they reverse that regular grapple, my ass would have been eliminated. He would have suplexed me right outside. So if you're ever in a grapple state like that, you're going to want to use the you know, the Irish whip button to slam them in the corner, because if they reverse that, then they'll just kind of like bop your face off of the inside turnbuckle and you'll be safe. So there's some tips for you, some pro tips. But yeah, so it's back to the Ultra Pro Wrestling thing, and I was watching an interview from the developer, and it's the only time I've ever heard about it, but he said he looked into the code of No Mercy and stuff like that, and I guess he said that at one point they were considering, and they had all sorts of new animations, and they were going to completely revamp the Battle Royal system. Like, they had special, like, you know, over-the-top rope animations, and like it was going to be like a more of a fight system and stuff like that. It wasn't just going to be like how it is, you know, in wrestling, and well, how it ended up in all these games. So I don't really know the details, the extent of that. And it sounded like he said, you know, it was just something they considered and didn't really get too deep into. He didn't explain too much of what the process looked like. Other than kind of explaining, like, yeah, you know, there was an over-the-top rope mechanic that was in play and stuff like that. And, you know, some sort of a struggle system. I think it was his interview. It was like his latest documentary interview about, like, his issues with the games that were going on and stuff like that. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but, like, it's like the first in like a whole series and stuff. But yeah, like that just sounds so interesting to me to you know, I'm just curious as to what that could have been, you know. Theoretically, you know, I don't know, because a lot of the same developers worked on the Day of Reckoning series and the WrestleMania games for GameCube. But you know, it could have been something like that in those games, you know, where you throw them out over the top rope, they're hanging over the top rope, and you know, you're supposed to like kick them until their momentum goes all the way to the bottom in danger, and then that's when they kind of get eliminated, is when they have no more momentum. And, you know, if you have half of your momentum, you know, filled and stuff like that, then you usually kind of get up right away. And I don't know how exactly, if that would, because it's kind of different with Day of Reckoning and No Mercy, because your momentum is just, that's how it's all, you know, tied to, whereas in Day of Reckoning, your momentum is different from your finisher meter. So I don't know if that's what the plan was, how it would have worked, but that just seems like a, you know, cool bit of information, and something, you know, I've looked at the cutting room floor before, and it's something I've never seen reported on, so I don't know how true that statement could even be, that, you know, the developer, I think, I want to say Sam Hauser, but obviously that's the developer of, you know, one of the guys who made GTA, but, man, I'm drawing a blank. I'm just terrible with names, and I have such a terrible memory now anyway, but the Ultra Pro Wrestling developer, you know, briefly went over that in one of his interviews, and I just thought that was something cool to bring up. Ooh, wow, that was pretty smooth. I guess that's Mike Not So Awesome. But I don't know, Ultra Pro Wrestling is kind of speaking of that, that's kind of a very up in the air kind of project too, because there's a lot of people that think it's a scam, and there's a lot of people that are just, because they have a Patreon, they're continuously getting, you know, an income from this to a degree. I don't know how much they make, but obviously, like, that's why people say it's a scam. You know, they gave us a few things, but they haven't showed any gameplay of any kind, and that is kind of a classic Kickstarter trait, in which, you know, they'll finesse us with a really cool looking video and claim it's gameplay stuff and all that sort of stuff, and then, you know, maybe you'll get a demo or the game, and it's like not even like 1/16 of what they promised in the game, and the graphics look like poop and stuff like that. I don't think that that's what these guys are doing. I think that it really does come across as something, you know, and it's another Kickstarter kind of issue where they overestimate how much work this kind of stuff would take. And I think they just were way, way, way over their heads, you know, thinking how easy it would be because, oh, you know, we got all the animation and stuff like that. But then in this recent interview, which was about animation, which I think is the same interview I was talking about with the Battle Royale mechanics that went unused and No Mercy, he also said that, like, yeah, you know, like, we pretty much have, like, a good chunk of the game done while these animations, and then later on it seemed like he said that, you know, animations are the issues, and he didn't realize how many universal animations and small little tiny, like, animations, you know, like just walking, picking something up, you know, stepping this way, stepping that way, freaking climbing the cage, you know, all sorts of little, very tiny little details. It's like add up to like about 1,000 animations overall. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I do feel for him to a degree, but at the same time, you know, you have taken, you know, I think people are just kind of waiting for that, you know, that gameplay thing to kind of finally have that aha moment and see, like, okay, this isn't a scam. They are really working on it. And there are going to be people, of course, that's not going to be good enough. You know, I think very few people, but like, it is kind of one of those things where if they were to get that out there, and, you know, they say they want the demo to be as perfect as possible and offer as much stuff as they can, because, you know, they only got one shot of, you know, gaining more interest and I get that, but I don't get that because you already have all these people that are excited to play and want you to just kind of release a demo, just like, hey, can you please release this and stuff. And they come out with DLC all the time, you know, of all this stuff and of all the characters that they want to include. You know, like pretty much a bunch of Monday Night War guys, like Gangrel is going to be one of them. A lot of ECW characters are going to be in it. Some, you know, I think the entire flock, except for Billy Kidman, I think, is going to be in there. And, you know, that's a lot of cool stuff, but, you know, I do agree with everybody else's sentiment, you know. Creating something like this is obviously not going to be easy, and it's going to be a lot harder than I think they anticipated, and I can have all the patience in the world, but I think we do really need, at this point, it's been like, you know, almost 2 years, you know, we need a demo, we need something, some form of tangible gameplay, just to kind of like tell everybody, like, hey, you know, this is for real, you know. And I think if they kind of put something out that's playable, just so we can kind of get the idea, I think that would help a lot more. You know, there'd still be people at that point complaining, saying, hey, you know, you had this timetable and stuff like that. And that's kind of the issue with a lot of this stuff is usually when you kind of put out like a time limit of when you're going to release something and then you don't, people are like, hey, you promised this. And it's like, no, they didn't really promise it, but that was kind of the estimated release date. And that's not just with indie stuff, that's with all, you know, game companies and stuff, and people say because it wasn't released at this specific time, you know, that they wasted their money and they're scam artists and all this other crazy stuff, and no, that's not exactly true. But at the end of the day, too, it's also something in which, you know, like I've said this before on the Retro Randy Price stuff, you know, he has a Patreon and he develops, you know, No Mercy Plus, he's developing ECW Born to be Wired, which is going to be another fantastic ECW ROM hack, and he's going to eventually develop some sort of WCW one and a, you know, WWF Backlash based off of the Invasion era. And there's a lot, I don't even say a lot, there's like just one or two people that think he's like a scam artist or something like that, because games don't come out when he says they are. And at the end of the day, I kind of look at it as it's really just, you know, if people are enjoying, you know, they're paying and they're enjoying what they're getting, you know, and even if time limits aren't, you know, properly adhered to, you know, I don't know, I just can't find the words right now for whatever reason, but even if like he's not sticking to like when he said the things were going to be released, if they don't mind, you know, and they're paying their monies, then it's just, that's really all it is, you know. It's not a scam because they're getting their money's worth out of it, and that's how I always look at it. And that was definitely my money's worth there. I couldn't have gone any better. That was a you know, 3-for-1 deal there, folks. Sometimes you get lucky in these battle royals and stuff like that, but now we gotta deal with Ty Jerry. And I don't know, I was gonna try and make a mental note of like how many people were coming out. I don't know, but I think we're kind of making some good time here at least, you know. But that's what I love about No Mercy, is that they have the, like the counter up in the top. So I mean, that's what's that's something that I just really appreciate, and that's kind of like the worst thing about like Road WrestleMania Royal Rumble mode, is that there's no like indication of where you know, how many people you've gone through and all that other stuff. So it's like, it's just a pain in the ass in the base game, because then it's like, okay, am I doing good? Am I not? How far have I gone along? It's just a pain in the butt. Plus, obviously, there's no save states, and you always start at number 1, so it's definitely, you know, probably one of the most difficult challenges you can do in any of the Aki games. And Shane Douglas is pissed. He doesn't want to. He's having trouble living down the shame of that previous tag match, which was his partner. So I mean, we gotta eliminate him ourselves, so that way we can, you know, end this once and for all. All right, well, we've ended it once and for all, folks. Thanks for watching. Alright, so we still have some more guys to go through. Essentially waiting until, oh great, Little Guido, our rival. We fought him like 7 times. But yeah, I'm essentially waiting for, you know, the timer to not activate the next time. Another thing too that's really terrifying about these hockey games is when, you know, it's down to like the final 3 or 2, there's that mechanic where obviously, you know, wrestlers can still fight outside the ring. So I mean, you could just be, you know, you could just get completely screwed over if you're not careful and be dragged out of the ring after, you know, putting in all the effort and hard work just because, you know, the AI eliminated you. And it's such an asshole. It's such a terrible mechanic. It's, once again, it's very awesome and great for like multiplayer, despite the fact, you know, the camera's not focused on you, so you can't even see anything anyway. But at the end of the day, I thought I could have swore there was definitely, I think it was in Virtual Pro Wrestling 64, in which I think like once someone was eliminated in certain matches, I think like, you know, tag matches, the wrestler would get up, go outside the ring, and then they would just get knocked out for the rest of the match and be on, you know, they wouldn't be able to be interacted with it. That's how they should have gone with it for the entire rest of the series, in my opinion. Because like there's just, I don't think it's ever really happened to me. I don't even think I've seen the AI get eliminated, but it's just the fact that that's even a possibility is just like, nah, that's just so lame. Like I think I've seen it happen to my brother at one point. Thankfully it was like the AI that got dragged out, but like I always just think to myself, man, I would be so fucking pissed if like I got through this entire match and then like I just get screwed over at the end. We got Pitbull #1. We took out his partner early in the match. And these guys are bastards too. Oh, goddamn. I feel like the AI is like smart and stupid at the same time. Like, there are times where you go to attack them and they look at you and just enough. Once they look at you, it doesn't matter like how it could be literally 0.1 frames of them, like, you know, essentially turning their attention towards you. They're going to reverse it. And it's just always annoying. Well, like, I don't know, I have to wonder, it's like that smart AI in which the game detects this guy's about to hit me, so, you know, I gotta look at him to prevent this, or is it just like happenstance? I always wonder. Alright, we got Lance Storm. Alright, we still got some more people going. Hopefully I didn't like accidentally put like the number like, ooh, that was scary. But hopefully I didn't like set the, you know, by putting the number as like 20, I didn't like set it to like somehow like 50 dudes are gonna be out here, and then, cause like if there's only like a number of people that are allowed in the Royal Rumble, so I think 40. I think I looked at the thing and it said 54 is like the max. Ooh, all right, well, we don't have to worry about that, but 54 is like the max, and any characters that come out after that aren't properly, I don't know why, but they're just not properly set to do that. So like you'll get like the dummy and stuff like that, and like messed up character models, and I think it'll eventually just stop working. The game will crash. Okay, we got this, oh no, he slightly turned. Yes. All right, we did it, folks. We have officially won the Battle Royal. We're gonna go to the Hostile Cities Showdown, I believe it is, as the ECW World Champion. And, you know, the nightmare is over. For me, anyway. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe to me, Bino Mac. Next Saturday, we will continue with February. Tomorrow, I talk about 10 No Mercy beta features that didn't make it into the final release. Every Sunday, I do comparison videos, evolution of the series, personal rankings, and more one-off videos. If you want to see a non-hockey wrestling game playthrough, this Wednesday, I continue my journey through the territories with Hulk Hogan and Legends of Wrestling for the GameCube. And if you want non-wrestling playthroughs, subscribe to my Let's Play channel, Bino Max, to see me play titles like Grand Theft Auto, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, and Teen Titans, which has a link in the description below, along with all other links and codes featured in this video, including previous episodes. Above all else though, please remember to have a nice day.